Hello, how are you doing today? I hope you're having a wonderful day. Have you ever pulled your home up on Zillow, saw that Zestimate pop up and thought, wow, that's what my home is worth now? Or maybe you're getting ready to buy and you're using those numbers to make decisions. Well, you're not alone. Millions of people do it every day. But here's the thing, is that number actually reliable? Is it really what your home would sell for in today's market? So today we're pulling back the curtain on Zillow estimates, how they work, where they fall short, and why trusting them without a second opinion could cost you big. Zillow's estimate, called the Zestimate, is an algorithm-based evaluation that pulls data from public records, MLS feeds, user-submitted info, and recent nearby sales. It's quick, it's automated, and honestly, it sounds pretty smart. But here's the catch. Zillow has never stepped foot in your home. It doesn't know you just renovated the kitchen or added a back deck, or that your neighbor's house was way worse shape than yours. Zillow is essentially guessing based on what it thinks it knows. And sometimes it guesses well, but other times not so much. Nationally, Zillow claims their estimates are within a few percent of the actual sale price. But that's across millions of properties across the whole United States. But when you zoom into smaller towns, unique neighborhoods, and even rural communities, everything Cherokee Village and Horseshoe Bend is, that margin of error can grow significantly. Even in fast-changing markets or in places with custom homes, lakefront properties, large acreages, Zillow just doesn't have the nuanced data to get it right. It's not that Zillow is lying, it's that their system isn't built to handle real-life complexity on this kind of local level. And you'll find that very often here, large acreages, lakefront properties, new built homes, well, you'd probably find new built homes in plenty of places, but they're gonna be a little bit more unique because of our small area and probably smaller homes. So it is really hard for Zillow to not have something that's really cookie cutter in a big city subdivision. Now, Zillow themselves are pretty transparent about that margin of error, but it can be significant. While they boast a pretty tight median error rate at the national level, the number can balloon when you zoom into those specific areas, like the rural ones or places with fewer comparable sales. We have much less sales here because we have less homes to sell than bigger cities. So in some areas, the error could be as high as 10% or even more. So if you have a $300,000 home or more, a 10% error is $30,000. And that's definitely not pocket change, folks. It's enough to seriously impact your buying or selling strategy. So when you're thinking about these margin of errors, you really want to talk with a local professional to make sure that you are getting the right price to start your property at or make an offer on. If this has been helpful so far and you're learning something new, go ahead and tap that subscribe button. I'm Clute with Ozark Gateway Realty in North Central Arkansas. There's a lot more to explore when it comes to home values, selling strategies, and smart real estate moves. And if you're in a unique market or thinking about buying or selling, this is exactly the kind of info you don't want to miss. If you're thinking of selling your home, relying on the Zestimate as your whole pricing strategy is a little bit risky. Buyers today are pretty well informed, and many will bring up the Zillow value when they're negotiating with you. If it's lower than your list price, they're going to be like, well, I'm offering what Zillow says it's worth. But Zillow didn't tour the home, doesn't know if your roof is updated or if you added on another room, or could even not know that you're on a lake property. On the other hand, if you underprice your home below the Zestimate, you could be leaving thousands on the table. So either way, basing your price strategy solely on that algorithm puts you at a disadvantage, and that's why it's so important to discuss your pricing with a local realtor who knows the current market, where your home is, and the value of the amenities that you put into your property. As a buyer, it is tempting to use that Zestimate to gauge whether a home is fairly priced. But be careful, sometimes homes are listed below the Zestimate to spark a bidding war. They want to get a whole bunch of offers and see who can offer the best and say, oh, there's another offer, you need to offer more. Now, other times the Zestimate is artificially inflated because of a few unusual sales nearby. Just because your neighbor's house is nicer or bigger doesn't mean your house is worth that much money. Again, with a rural or resort-like area where homes are all unique or spread out, or like the lake homes are more valuable than the ones across the street, the Zestimate becomes more of a shot in the dark than a helpful tool. So basically the bottom line is Zestimates can be a starting point, they can be helpful, but they should never be considered the finish line. I've been talking about why Zestimates aren't so great, but what do you do instead? The first thing that I would recommend that you do is you contact a local realtor and get a CMA, a comparative market analysis. This will allow the agent to compare it to homes in the area. It'd be best if they came to the home so they can see the upgrades that you made, the amenities that the home has, and so they can actually compare like to like, apples to apples, oranges to oranges, things that your features and upgrades that your home has, whether it's parking, lakefront, huge bedroom, finished basement, all of that. So it's, again, the same comparison and they can make the adequate adjustments. We're going to compare it to current homes on the market as well as homes that sold and maybe even homes that never sold and were listed. It goes down to your specific neighborhood or at least to a house with a similar amenities if there's not other homes in your neighborhood that have recently sold or on the market. You can also order a professional appraisal. It's a little bit similar to a market analysis. Usually a market analysis by a realtor is free as they're hoping to get your business for the listing. But an appraiser has no other option other than just to tell you what the value is. And so that's what they are going to do, is they're going to do similar things, what's sold, what's active. They're not going to look at what's active. They're just going to look at what's sold and use the square footage and amenities to do an apples to apples analysis. Now, I will want to note that there are different types of appraisals. Just because you get an appraisal to list your home doesn't mean it's going to be the same appraisal when your buyer goes to buy your home, because their lender is going to require a new appraisal. And even though an appraisal is supposed to be objective, it can often be subjective and depend on the person who does the appraisal. So just want to warn you about that. And then of course you can do your own research. You can look in tax records, you can look on Zillow, you can look and find homes that are similar to yours and look at the difference. Don't just look at the price, you gotta look at the square footage and the other amenities and the updates that that home has had, how long it stayed on the market, because that's also going to be a consideration for you. Do you want to be on the home on the market forever and get the best price, or do you need to sell quickly? So all of that needs to be into consideration when you're actually developing your pricing strategy. So is Zillow estimating accurate? Sometimes, sure it is. But should you rely on it to price your home or decide what to offer on a property? Probably not. It's a good starting point, but it's not the whole picture. There are many details that Zestimates may not have taken into consideration. So before you make any major decisions, especially one involving your likely biggest investment, get a second opinion from someone who knows your market inside and out. Zillow is a great tool, but it's not the rule. So if you're ready to look into pricing your home, check out this video before making any other selling mistakes. Thanks for watching and have a blessed day.